Okay, another Q&A video, which according to viewers is the best out there. A quick thanks to all of you for posting your questions. Let's get into it. Did the Avalinos make their fortune from drug trafficking like Dom Tricello or Paolo Duca? Or did it mainly come from garbage and construction? To my knowledge, the Avalinos did very well in the garbage business as well as other legitimate businesses. For instance, they had a canteen that serviced the coffee trucks. And years ago, they actually sold the business to Lo Duca for $3 million. In Joseph DeFidi's testimony in September 1993, Vicamuso had all the captains called in to ensure their loyalty to him. Brooklyn captain George Zapola and his acting captain, George Conti, never reported, and both got shelved. Both Zapola and Conti were indicted together and went to prison in 1996 and were released in 2014. Do you know if Zapola and Conti were taken off the shelf before or after they went to prison? Well, this is all according to Joe DeFidi and way before my time. If they were in fact shelved, aside from not coming in, it was also known they were very close to gas pipe. But I honestly never heard of them being shelved, and obviously would have no idea when they were taken off the shelf, if the story has any value to it. Did you know Colombo member Ralph Piccirillo? I didn't know him, although I see he passed away in 2001 and was a former Colombo captain. Years ago, his brother Patty was arrested for running a poker game for Luca Di Matteo, who also is a Colombo captain. Would a wise guy be expected to kick up money that he inherited? No. Money from personal business or family money is off limits and not expected to be kicked up, only money that's made criminally. In your time in the life, were there still guys who made the majority of their income from robbery? During my time, I didn't know anyone who was committing robberies as far as members went. One viewer wanted to know if association is enough to catch a charge. Not in the United States, but as I've mentioned, Mafia association in Italy is indeed a crime. Would you say there's more CIs in today's families, similar to a Greg Scarpa type scenario? To my knowledge, there are numerous high-valued informants in all the families. And I'll repeat myself, the Lucchese family specifically, according to the FBI, has the most up-to-date intel coming in than any other family. Did you ever meet or hear of Joseph Tantillo, possibly a Lucchese member from the Bronx? I never met him. I know of a Diego Tantillo who was arrested with the Gambinos in 2023. Did you ever have any dealings with Neil Migliori? He seemed like quite a legend in the family, and if so, what are your thoughts on him? I never had any personal dealings with Neil. What I knew of him was that he was very quiet and low-key, and during my time, mostly kept his distance from the family, with the exception of wakes. Have you ever seen a scenario where two made guys take breaking balls too far and got physical? No, I've never seen something like this take place. The next question is interesting due to the fact that some viewers, understandably, do not understand that life, and I mean that with no disrespect. It's something I notice more and more. Here it is. Can you explain how the rent-a-wiseguy thing works more? If I owe a guy money and he runs to you, do you show up at my house or job and pull the you-know-who-I-am card, or introduce yourself as a member of a family and that you're here to collect for that person? How would I know you're a serious person instead of telling you to fuck off when you're a stranger to me? We'll start with the rent-a-wiseguy. It's a term used by members of that life, meaning when a guy steps out for someone who was never officially with them, or when someone runs to a wise guy for help, someone that isn't his associate, and no wise guy goes to a civilian and introduces himself as a member. Nor should he ever use the words, "Do you know who I am?" And he doesn't need to announce himself. The remainder of the question I'll sum up as follows. You would fully understand you were dealing with a serious guy when either you were in intensive care or minus the money you owed. How was it decided that someone would receive their own crew, made a captain? Did your own captain need to put you forward, or would you need to have a strong relationship with the administration? That's an administration call. They make and break the captains. If Louie Dedone were released today and wanted a spot in the administration, would he actually get it? And if he asked Patty Delarosso for help getting reestablished on the street, would Patty try to screw him over or go out of his way to help? For starters, Louie wouldn't need anyone's help reestablishing himself, especially Patty's. Louie's reputation would speak for itself. When an administration is set in place, just because someone comes home doesn't mean he steps into a position. And as for Patty, if Louie got out, he would be so far up Louie's ass, you'd be able to read the bottom of his sneakers. Here are two Ndrangheta questions. What's the latest on Ndrangheta in New York City? The latest? Well, I'm sure they're quietly conducting business, but there's been no recent arrest or indictments. During your time in that life, were you aware of any Ndrangheta clans currently operating in the USA? I've mentioned this in the past. I've personally met one clan in a Long Island restaurant. Other than that, I have no idea. When you were inducted into the Lucchese family, what were your initial thoughts after the initiation? Did you have any regrets? My initial thoughts within the first week was that the guys who warned me that the mob changed for the worst were 100% right. I had seen things that made my head spin. And of course, I regretted my decision to be inducted. If you haven't liked this video yet, please take the time now and give it a like, as it helps with YouTube's algorithm. Anyone who'd like to show their appreciation for videos like this, or more importantly, help me continue making them, you can donate with the super thanks icon down below or through the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. Let me quickly mention my blog, also named Sit Down News, especially for those of you who, like myself, still get enjoyment out of reading. It could be found at sitdownnews.com and is a paid subscription. And for the final question, why did Vic Amuso take the beating from Greg Sarper Jr. and not do anything about it? When the incident happened, Vic was up there in age, and from what I've heard, he was injured pretty badly. So what was he supposed to do at that point? Naturally, Scarpa, as a result, had a target on his back. Just because you're the boss of a family on the street doesn't mean you can't get tuned up in the can.